Howdy, got a story for you. None of us achieve any measure of success without people helping us along the way. And one of my long-term friends and mentors, a gentleman by the name of Ed Zimmerle, is retiring from his position of helping students with video production that he's been doing for almost 30 years at this point, including helping out this guy. So here's a story about Ed and how his and my lives have intersected over the years. Who's helped you along your way? I would like to talk about that. Let's talk about that in the comments, and let's make sure we tell them thank you. And if you're new here, if we haven't met, my name is Jeff Bartsch, and I'm glad you're here. Hey Ed, congratulations on all your years at the area education agencies in Iowa. You have helped thousands of students, and you've done a lot of great things. Which, I mean, heck, they put your face on the side of a van, so I mean, you got to be doing something right. Of course, I've been aware of this for a long time. If you're seeing this and we haven't met, my name is Jeff Bartsch, and I attended 9th through 12th grade at New Waufonda High School, tiny little school in the northwest section of Iowa. I graduated in a class of 35 people. The whole high school had 200 students in it, and it seemed like everyone in the school, and actually in the whole town, it seemed to me at the time that they were obsessed with the one thing that I was worst at, which would be sports. So when you add that to having pretty much zero social skills, I didn't have very many friends in high school. Most of my peers either made fun of me or they just kind of tolerated or kind of ignored me. And I never, throughout my time in high school, I never really felt like I fit in. Then, during my sophomore year, I discovered video production. And my art teacher told me that there are these things around Iowa called area education agencies, and the one in Fort Dodge had this thing called a video editing suite with lots of really cool equipment that most schools didn't have. And there is a guy there by the name of Ed who would help me make videos. He'd support me and answer questions. So what I did, this was before email and before cell phones, I would have to wait until study hall to go to the school office and ask to use the school office phone. And I would call up this guy, Ed, and I would just ask question after question, and he answered them all. I had a lot to learn. And he was like, okay, let's start at the beginning here. First off, what is your video about? Your video projects have to be about something. I'm like, oh, yeah, they gotta be about something, And then he says, you have to know who's gonna see them and what they want to know about it. It's like, you gotta know your audience. I'm like, oh yeah, you gotta know your audience. And through all these questions, Ed actually listened to me, and he made me feel like I was onto something really cool with these video projects that I was planning.
I love that cat call in the background.
My favorite part of any video project were the days when I got to go do the editing. And I would pack up all my notes and a great big stack of VHS videotapes. And at the time, at the beginning, I was too young to drive. So my mom would drive me an hour one way from Newell to Fort Dodge, and I would get to spend the day hanging out with Ed.
All right, that's good. What?
Problem?
Not anymore.
The way Ed supported and advised me during those years helped me to see that I love the process of telling stories through video, and I still do. After my first 2 years of college in the Midwest, I transferred out to film school in Los Angeles, and from there, I started building a career editing television in Hollywood. At this point, I have been out in Hollywood for about 20 years, and I've participated in thousands of hours of finished television that have been seen by millions of people all around the world. At this point, my main goal is no longer pursuing success for myself in Hollywood. My goal is to help creators and storytellers find a piece of Hollywood in themselves. Howdy, Jeff Bartsch here with Story Greenlight, where we're all about helping creators like you tell the stories you care about the most. One of the things that I talk about on my YouTube channel and with my coaching clients is something that I call the thing under the thing. When it comes to content creation, most people talk about what's on the surface, what I refer to as the thing. And the stories that have the most emotional impact with your audience are stories that speak to layers of stuff under the surface, what I refer to as the thing under the thing. It's a way of thinking differently about what you're talking about in your content. Which brings me back to you, Ed, because that's something that you're very good at. When you help a team of students put on a newscast, the newscast is just the surface, that's the thing. What's underneath that, the thing under the thing, is that Ed, you are helping these students work together as a team. You are helping these students who are flailing about trying to find out, like, who am I? What's my place in this world? And you're helping them present a confident version of themselves on camera. And for some of these students, just literally the fact of appearing on camera at all is a victory in itself. So it's like the newscast is the thing, but the thing under the thing, it's teamwork, it's confidence, and it's facing and challenging and overcoming your own fears. For all those hundreds of trips where you were driving to and from a school or a conference and setting up and tearing down gear and schlepping stuff in and out, all that stuff was just the thing. What you were doing all along, Ed, was you were helping those students and teachers and administrators communicate their message clearly and to spread their message to the world to make the world a better place. And especially on behalf of that one geeky kid back in high school who had no friends back in the 90s. You weren't just answering all those questions on the phone, and you weren't just showing him how to press the buttons on the editing gear. That stuff was all just the thing. What you were really doing, Ed, was the really important stuff, the thing under the thing. You were showing me that I mattered. That a kid like me was worthy of attention and support from a skilled professional like you. And even though I had very few social skills, you were helping me to believe that I had potential to achieve great things. Whether you knew it or not, what you were doing all those years ago was you were cheering me on, the younger version of me, as I walked down the path of finding out what I've been put on this earth to do. And I've come to realize that one of the main reasons that I am here is to tell stories and to empower other people to tell theirs. And I know that the same is true for you because you've been doing it for decades. So, on behalf of that geeky kid and the thousands of others like him that you have encouraged and supported over the years, thank you. Your work has been important, and your encouragement has been more valuable than words can say. Well done, man. And we can't wait to see what's next for you.